This is Kieran Reese, otherwise known as the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, the O.C.G., and I'm here playing Bound by Flame, a game that kind of gets a lot of hate. It's kind of underrated. It's not perfect, but I think it's really good. Oh! 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 This game is super fucking difficult and sometimes in a way that doesn't feel fair, so I'm playing on easy. I've beaten all the Souls games.
I shall ever forget the strange series of events that led to my meeting young
Vulcan.
The peoples of the world had been fearfully whispering about the Ice Lords for the past 10 years, though of course, they had been present long before then. The Deadwalker army, an endless horde of undead creatures under the Ice Lord's command, swept down from the mountains in the north, annihilating all resistance on the continent. Each battle only served to swell their ranks with the defeated dead, and the bloodless world seemed ready to sink into an endless ice age, where there would be no place for the living. There were a few who still tried to stand against the invaders. The elves, who had hitherto remained neutral, and the Red Scribes, a small group of scholars who believed their knowledge might be able to tip the scales. The Scribes had recently engaged the services of a group of mercenaries known as the Freeborn Blades, a renowned company who would become even more so after these events. The Blades were to protect them while they performed a ritual which was intended to change the course of the war.
Esplanade. This game has a fucking awesome soundtrack though. For real.
Great scouts. You can smell them from 50 yards away. So here we are. And just think, the captain wanted me to stay and set up camp. I didn't join the Freeborn Blades to stack pots and fill trains. But he knows that. He knows his men, and he knows his powder master hates just hanging around. Setting up camp. Now that's what I call being useful. I honestly believe we stay out of this damn war till the end. Well, looks like the end just showed up. The Ice Lords have really done it this time. All of Vertiel is on the brink. Nothing will stop the Deadwalkers. Soon there won't be a town left to fall back to, or even a tavern where you can spend your pay. There's no one left to turn back this filthy, stinking tide, if it were even possible. Let's hope our beloved employers can deliver on their promises. If their big ritual thing doesn't pan out, we're all gonna be left standing here with our asses hanging out. A bunch of chatty priests playing Sorcerer's Apprentice against 7 immortal mages. Sounds great. Anyhow, you have to fight fire with fire, so they say. Damn, they're here already. I better warn the others fast.
And due to the original PS4 version having an uncapped frame rate, on PS5 it's 60 with very little dips, and the dips is more like a non-optimization rather than the game not being able to handle it. I mean, this game's like very early PS4 game.
Enjoy your stroll. Get over here and tell me about it.
Oh look, it's Sean Connery. I mean, the leader of the Freeborn Blades.
By the looks of you, I'm guessing it wasn't just a quiet stroll. So, what did you see?
The Deadwalkers are already close. I got one of their scouts.
Gods damn it, Vulcan! I've told you 100 times. Recon means observing and reporting, not charging in and fighting without thinking.
I didn't want him to alert all of the others before we were ready for them.
But what if they'd have killed you? Then you wouldn't have been able to alert us before they were ready to attack us. Think for a second. God's blood. We have to get ready for them. Now that you've finally got your arse back over here, you can prepare some traps. Get Peeler to help you place them around the temple. That'll give us some time, and we'll hear them coming.
Yes, sir, Captain.
And if you have questions, you know where to find me.
I do have questions.
The way you're standing there looking like a kid waiting for sweeties tells me you have a question. Oh, come on then. Out with it.
This isn't the ideal place to get trapped by the Deadwalkers. Do we have an escape plan?
If you think I dragged us to the top of this mountain without figuring out how to get back down, laddie, you're not going to be commanding troops anytime soon. It's true they're early, but the plan stays the same. We have to hold this position until the dozy bastards are done with their chanting. What comes after that is my concern until I tell you.
I was only asking, sir. I guess we could just hold our noses and chop our way out through them?
Don't count on it. If the Deadwalkers are already here, it means Bastion has fallen. It's just away to the west, and that means we get stuffed by a whole siege battalion. There'll be hobblers, specters, spewers, maybe even a juggernaut if the gods have decided to stick it all the way in. The gods, or the Ice Lords.
So juggernauts really exist? I've never seen one.
Well, I have, and I'd rather not have to see another. I worked in Amorkheim for a couple of years. A huge fortress with walls as high as 10 men. Those things tore the place down with their bare hands. There were 2 of them, maybe 3. The fortress fell in a single night.
There's something creepy about our employers.
I shouldn't... You don't ask questions about a paying customer. And of course they're strange. It doesn't take a genius to figure out they're more than just wise men seeking knowledge. But so far, the only thing that's bothering me is their insistence on performing their ritual in this god's forsaken temple.
I guess that this is the only place they could do it. Or maybe they just don't want to die without company. The whole thing stinks of mass suicide to me.
Ah, give it a rest, lad. Damn. I probably should have got them to pay in advance.
Anything else I can do, apart from waiting for the hobblers to come knocking on the temple doors?
You could go and search the area. Nobody's coming back to collect what they left here. Or you could go and check inside. See if our adorable employers need a hand. Or a neck rub.
I'll go, Captain.
See, there's like lots of optional conversations you're gonna miss.
Hey, Vulcan. Can't talk to you right now.
Okay.
Everything okay, Buffalo?
Yeah. I wish those goddamn mobile corpses would just attack. I hate all this hanging around.
You don't seem too upset that the Dead Walkers are coming for us.
It's not the first time we've faced the Dead Walkers, and considering what's going on, we knew that one day, sooner or later, we'd have to deal with their main force. It's not like there are a lot of us to stand against them. I just hope we can put up a good fight before they kill us.
Do you have any clue why the scribes wanted to gather here?
I don't know. At least we can be sure of one thing. It wasn't for the beautiful scenery. I heard them mumbling about an invoking chamber. That's what they came here to find. I guess it must be important to them.
They say you can't be killed. Is that true?
Sometimes you're so gullible it's almost charming. That's just a story they tell to new recruits.
Still, you've been in the Blades a hell of a long time, and you're still in one piece.
That doesn't mean anything. Sure, I've been lucky. I can handle myself, and I guess I'm smart enough to know when to fall back. So, sure, I ain't bought it yet, but my turn will come.
What do you think of our employers?
You know very well it's not up to us to decide, but I think they're a bunch of scrotums. They're convinced they can win this war with a few books. And while they're busy doing their stupid research, we have to watch their asses. But that's the job. It's not like we had any choice.
See you later.
3 months without a chance to spend my pay. I'm sick of it.
The power is not in the word.
This game puts a premium on resources, so you really do need to look around and try to find everything. I think that might advance the main quest, so... The temple on top of the world.
What the hell are you doing here? Did you lose something?
In a way, I conducted research on this temple before coming, and I learned that an ancient artifact was kept here.
You don't really look like you're ready to go back to the temple to find it.
It's just that I don't really feel like poking around on my own here. I was hoping that an object like that would be easy to find, but I can't see it anywhere. It's a round gray stone the size of a fist, and it gives off heat.
Great. And what's this stone for?
I have no idea. I have a description of it, but nothing about what it's used for. But if I could examine it, I'm sure I could find out what its powers are.
Right. I'm gonna continue my rounds. Try not to get in our way too much while you're doing your research. You'd be a lot safer back with the others.
During your rounds, do you think maybe you could try to find the sphere? Please, I'll pay you for it.
You better. Listen, we've got 1 or 2 other things on our minds right now, like keeping your asses safe from the Dead Walkers, for example. But if I come across the stone, I'll bring it back for you.
I love the voice actor for Vulcan, Robin Atkin Dallas. He's the guy that plays Miller in Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 5, as well as a bunch of others, but that's what he knows for. They played us like a damn fiddle! Became a fucking meme.
The catalyst is in place. Everything seems to be going as we planned.
I didn't even know you could come and do this and search the temple before the fight broke out. Like, I missed that. Kinda insane. Well, there it is. It was right here, you dumbass.
Well, Did you find it?
I think so. Would this happen to be your magic sphere?
Yes. That has to be it. The throbbing when you hold it in your
Oh,
hand.
that sounds
the
dirty.
heat. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Here, like I promised.
That's okay. Thanks.
These lords of the...
Do not enter. The scribes must concentrate.
Did you get thrown out of the party or something? What are you doing here on your own? Why aren't you with the others?
I am here in order to prevent mercenaries who talk too much from disturbing the concentration of my peers.
Yeah, right. What are your peers doing?
I'm afraid that my explanations would exceed your ability to comprehend, mercenary. That being the case, I would appreciate it if you would move off. They need silence in order to concentrate.
I'll be going now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I already know I'm gonna spec. I'm gonna go for the Ranger. Ranger and Pyromancy.
Hey, Vulcan! Looking for stuff to loot, eh?
That was a productive conversation. Hey, Vulcan! You looking for a thing to loot? It's Tuesday, ain't it? Let's see if I can add anything good to the daggers. This game is all about adding stuff to the weapons. Like, weapons are shit before you upgrade them. Fuck. Let's see if I can find some steel. Because that's what I want the ability to interrupt. Because daggers are light-hitting weapons, they hit fast, but they don't have as much interrupting, so you want to buff that. Okay, I think that's everything. I think I can just proceed with the main quest now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Let them come. I'm ready for their stupid dead faces.
Oh my god. He's such a douche.
Dead glass. Now that's badass. How come none of those ice
Oh, I got steel. Oh. And... Oh, wait, can I... Oh, okay. Doesn't use... Okay. How about that? What? Okay, they're gonna make me make the trap, so... Are you gonna let me see my weapon? That'd be great. Yeah, there we go. Fuck, I have one steel. Just gonna wait until then.
That should do it. Peeler, you wanted something more exciting than peeling potatoes. Well, here you go. These are a few treats to welcome our buddies, the Deadwalkers. Booby trap all the access points. And try not to blow yourself up.
Don't sweat it, I can handle it.
I'm not kidding. If you lose an arm, it's gonna be my ass that gets blamed.
Are coming! Now!
Drive them back! We must hold the Esplanade! Oh, shite! Here come more of them!
It's the Juggernaut!
Fall back! Everybody to the temple! Now! go see how Buffalo is getting along with the scribes. He's meant to be guarding their invoking chamber.
But Captain...
Get out of here! And go find Pila for me while you're gone.
And this is optional. If you proceed to a certain point,
I'll give you, but Captain...
Peeler dies.
Right. Are you coming or what?
Is everything okay, Buffalo?
As long as I can hear them mumbling, everything is okay. But I killed it before I could interrupt them.
That's good news. The captain's holding the front entry, Hawk's on the west wing, I got the east. Got any idea where Peeler is?
I think I saw him over on the east side. You should find him if you head
Like, you
over
save
there.
his life. He dies if you don't
Thanks.
find him.
I hope he's still in one piece. And, you might want to check inside the invoking room. We just came across some specters. Those things can go straight through walls, and they might get in there without asking you first.
Is that so?
Now is when I finally get to use the daggers. Thank fuck. You need to search the dead bodies of your enemies. Yeah, we're gonna do the stealth. Stealth in this game is terrible. It's just crab walking. Woo! You really need to choose one thing to spec out and just stick with it, which is what I'm doing. Yeah, you need to do this. This is the one I would suggest getting right away because it makes your daggers much faster. And then feet, mule. You know, let's do that. See how much faster the daggers are? The final level, it'll buff them even more. Oh, how did I miss that?
Hey, Vulcan! I need some help here! There's too many of them, and I got this stupid scribe under my feet!
You, scribe. Get back to the chamber with the others. Can't protect you if you keep wandering around.
Hey, thanks. Not you, I'm pretty sure that jerk would have gotten...
I mean, he would have. He dies.
No shit. Next time, be more careful, okay? I talked with the captain. He wants to see you.
Oh, shit.
Now... Okay, skills. Now I'm even faster. See the difference that makes? Plus now I can sprint during combat. Now I have to fight this fat bitch. It's like the boomer's grown up fucking molester uncle. Yeah, let me go back and get the fucking items. I'm gonna save some points for later. For a very specific reason.
This position's lost. Retreat! Everyone fall back to the invoking room, and fast!
These fuckers. Ah, you bitch. Oh shit. Yeah. To the invoking chamber!
Concentrate. We almost have it.
Well now, that must be the 5th time I heard him say that. This stupid ritual is taking too goddamn long. Oh, shit, here come the hodlers.
Are you going to be all right?
I'm fine. Worry about those dead walkers.
Are you hurt, Buffalo?
For now, you just have to remain the scribe.
Got it, sir. I'll keep the hobblers busy.
Something is wrong. The catalyzer shouldn't do that.
Hey, there goes one.
Stay away from my daughter!
I shall not let thy weakness be our downfall.
Yep, now you have the power of flame.
do that? Captain, I think it's time we talked about a promotion.
We don't have time for this, Vulcan. We need to move out before the rest of them get here.
The passes are probably crawling with them already.
There's a passage to the other side of the mountain. It will lead us to the swamp.
The swamp? Oh, that sounds fun. Hey, did anybody see what I just did to that huge fucking monster? I mean, seriously, I fried that thing. I saved our asses, and you're all just, hey, what's for lunch?
I said shut it, Vulcan.
Hey, what's for lunch? You see what I just did to that huge fucking monster?
Thou hast fled.
What the?
Thou didst hold the power to face the necromancers, yet thou didst flee.
I had no choice.
No choice. Hast thou even thought of choosing? Thou art fled like a thief, and thou hast left me, a shadow of myself, trapped here in this prison.
I did not create this situation. I'm not even sure I understand what has happened.
The hour for questions is past. Thou must act. It is I who will suffer for thy cowardice. I who will pay for thine fault. I who will face extinction. And if I must die, if the flame is extinguished, our world will die as well.
I will not let the flame die. I am in a war against these necromancers, and at last I have the power to fight them.
What dost thou hope to accomplish in this ridiculous human shell? As it is now, it is useless to us. The flame is not a toy for mewing infants. It exists to reign. Its power must not be stolen from thee. We must reconquer the world heart as swiftly as we may.
Hey, Vulcan, enough of your daydreaming. Move your ass, huh?
Buffalo.
Vulcan, you hear me? Pull your finger out.
Huh? Yeah, I hear you. My head feels like a bomb went off in it.
Well, shake it off. We're still not at the end of this stinking swamp, and I'm not gonna carry you all the way to the village.
Anyway, how come Hawk isn't the one with me here? He's the lead scout. I always go with him.
Hawk is covering the back of the line, so this time, I'm the one who goes with you. You'll get over it.
Why do I get the feeling I'm under surveillance?
You think nobody noticed your little stunt at the temple? Damn right we're watching you. Now shut your trap and keep an eye on our perimeter, while I keep an eye on you. He'll tell you what you need to know. And if he doesn't tell you, then I will.
Thanks, Sarge.
Let's get moving before everybody catches up.
I ran into the first
You lot
region
are
again.
about as discreet as a herd of hunchbacks.
I thought that elves were supposed to have superior eyesight. Do we look like stiffs to you, dickhead?
Not yet. But with an arrow sticking out of your throat, I'm certain that even a chatterbox like you could do a passable impression.
And you'd be the next one down.
Possibly. Perhaps I should aim for the largest target first.
Not if you want to keep both your balls.
What have we here? Buffalo in person. Well, that's a good sign.
What's going on here? Who's the scrag with the pointy ears?
Thanks for noticing. I try to keep them sharp. I'm called Relmar, and I gather the red-faced fat belly with the filthy beard is none other than the famous Elric, leader of the Freeborn Blades.
They call me the Captain.
All the Freeborn Blades call you Captain Elric. I have no doubt that they do. As for me, I've never had much interest in titles or in military protocol. I judge people by their deeds.
His rank was granted in the field. You seem like you know enough about the Freeborn Blades to know what that means.
I have enough knowledge of your history to know that your leader has made a name for himself. So, yes, call him what you will. The fact that he is your captain concerns only you and those availing themselves of your services.
That's enough. We're not going to stand here bullshitting all night. Just what the fuck are you doing here, Relmar, you horse-tongued bastard?
Looking for you. Well, I began by searching for the Red Scribes. Prince Arundel is wounded. We had to withdraw to Valvanor, where I learned that you were expected. I just wanted to make sure you found your way there.
This is not my first walk in the wilds, arsewipe. As you can see, I'm on the right path, and we've nearly reached our destination.
Captain, those creatures I told you about this morning are gathering nearby. They're probably getting ready to attack us.
Ah. Well, those are called chrysalids. They wait until they have gathered enough numbers, and then they overwhelm you. And it would seem your little group is attracting a whole swarm to the village.
Well, we'll give them a welcome.
Actually, in spite of themselves, these creatures do an excellent job of keeping Deadwalker scouts away without raising any suspicions. If we allow them to gather here and then massacre them, I fear we'll be moving their territory a bit too close to Valvanor, which will lead to our being discovered sooner or later. I suggest we send 1 or 2 men back. This will keep them separated and occupied, while the rest make it to the village. I'm ready to volunteer, if you fear I might try and slip away. I know the area well.
Sounds like a plan to me. Vulcan, you're on it.
I want to go too. The animals and plants in this swamp are extraordinary. And the venom of these chrysalids seems very interesting. I'd love to get a chance to observe them more closely.
Sybil, that is out of the question. Have you lost your mind? It's too dangerous.
Come on, let her off the leash. It'll be good for her. I promise I'll bring her back in one piece.
Vulcan, rule number 2.
We'll see you at the village.
Sybil!
See you later.
Need it. Yeah. Cast my flame spell.
They're all around us.
Not this way. I'm not going back to that temple.
for all the species that live here. There is so much.
He's not normally much of a talker. Or something?
No, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I just think he has a lot of respect for you, that's all.
Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
What do you want to know?
So Alas is your father?
Yes. And yes, he is the leader of the Red Scribes.
That's handy for you.
You are so predictable. Daddy's little girl can do whatever she wants, right? Don't fool yourself. I'm endlessly having to prove myself more than any other scribe. My father doesn't treat me better than the others, and I expect no less from him.
At least that explains why you look like you just stepped out of a library. I guess he encourages you?
Yes, of course. But I'm big enough to make my own choices. Knowledge fascinates me, and I suppose it would have been like that whoever my father was.
Can you tell me more about your order?
Of course. The Red Scribes are an order of sages. Our quest is to find the answers to all the great mysteries of this world.
And so you know about magic?
We study magic from an essentially theoretical viewpoint, but we're not an order of magicians. Even though some of us practice healing magic, but we have nothing to do with the destructive power magic used by the Lords of the Frozen Shadows, and we know very little about that domain, unfortunately.
I see. But that doesn't mean you can't research it, huh?
Obviously, especially now. Any knowledge which would help us turn this war around would be helpful. But according to our archives, we were already studying magic more than 5 centuries ago.
Oh, really? What do you know about the Ice Lords?
As much as it is possible to know without having met them. In some ways, they're quite fascinating, even though the term might seem inappropriate.
Where did they come from?
Most people believe that the Lords appeared recently, at the beginning of the war. But I have found certain scrolls that lead me to believe they have been around more than 300 years. They are originally from a region far to the north of Vertiel. For a long time, they remained there. The beginning of their conquest is quite recent. We all think that the war started 10 years ago, but in fact, it is much longer, maybe even the last century. It took them a long time to escape from their region of origin. The dwarf kingdoms were in their way, and they put up a fight.
You had me going there for a moment. I'm sorry, but dwarves? Save it for the children.
But you're wrong. The dwarves did exist, but the Ice Lords exterminated them.
Right. And I bet they also massacred all those poor dragons and goblins.
You know that dragons and goblins don't exist. You're impossible.
Do they have any weaknesses that we could exploit?
Not that I know of. All of the Ice Lords are powerful sorcerers. They are far more powerful than all the other magicians. They have an unlimited army. If they have a weakness, it's not that.
But in spite of all of this, you think there is something?
I do. We often imagine the Ice Lords as a vast megalithic power. But that's not true. In fact, they desperately hunger for power. Just because they pooled their powers to create the Deadwalker army doesn't mean they like each other. Their balance of power is
I'm about
precarious.
a quarter of the way through.
As soon as they are done with
Here's the
destroying
monster.
Vertiel, they'll probably start
And
killing
here's
each
where I'm
other.
at.
Sure, but that doesn't help us much if we have to wait until they're done.
Perhaps there is a way to stir up the tensions between them. Even if for the moment, I can't think how.
Perfect. How do we kill him?
If I knew that, do you think I would keep it to myself? But I can tell you this, we do believe it's possible. We know that there are 7 lords. Black Storm, Lady Crystal, Marshal Winters, the White Lady, Lord Blackfrost, the Chiller, and the Ice Duchess.
Everybody knows that. We've had our asses kicked by them enough.
For sure. But in the past, there were more of them. Some scrolls talk of 9 or a dozen, even of 30 lords. Of course it's confusing, and I doubt they would have freely given the information of how to kill one of them. But you can bet that some of them have died. We just have to discover how.
Let's change the subject. Do you know what happened to me in the temple?
I'm still searching for an explanation. Something must have gone wrong during the ritual.
And what was the god's damn ritual supposed to do?
The Red Scribes have always had quite limited magical skills. I believe that the ritual was meant to increase their magical powers to try and find a way of combating the Ice Lords. But instead of channeling pure energy into each of the scribes, the ritual called forth a conscience that settled in you.
Your father called it a demon. How come I got stuck with it?
A demon? That reminds me of the old texts, but I couldn't say if that's what it is. You were standing right there, so that force flowed into you. It could have been my father, or any of us, I guess.
Well, that's just great. What do I do now?
I would dearly like to help you. But even though I have searched through all the texts I have here, I can find no reference to anything like this experience of yours, at least for now. But until we have found out more, you must try to fight against this thing. Do not allow it to get comfortable. We don't know what its intentions are, or how powerful it is. It could be dangerous for you.
So then, any result from the study of all these creatures of the swamps?
I have discovered a few things about the small chrysalids. They are much faster, but it seems that they can only attack from close up, using their pinchers. I also noticed that the medium-sized chrysalids were slower than small ones, but they, however, can fire tiny projectiles.
What can you tell me about the World Heart?
Many of the people on Vertiel believe that the World Heart is just a myth. There are many different beliefs from one region to another, but most of them have more in common than not.
The World Heart is where life and prosperity are born. I've already heard that crap.
If we were to imagine Vertiel as a living being, the World Heart is exactly what it sounds like, the heart of the world. It's what keeps the world alive. It beats, and Vertiel lives from its energy. If you wish, I can try to learn more about it. Come back and see me in a few days.
There's a lot of optional conversations you can miss. Tainted blood, oh, oh. Oh, she's healing me.
Well, same here, I think. What did you people do to me anyway?
I have no idea. It's amazing we have no record. We're going to do everything we can to find out.
This guy's fucking fearless. Let's help him out before it goes bad for him.
Despite his determination, the knight was in an awkward position. He thanks the mercenary for having assisted him in his task. If he can trust the rumors that he hears around the village, he has before him one called Falcon. He has the pleasure of welcoming the mercenary to the village.
And you are?
The knight is called Randall, last survivor of the Order of the Ember Knights, and now protector of Valvenor, this village. The new arrival is most welcome. But the steward is waiting in the old village inn.
Nope. Now we get to the game's town. It's sad there's only one town. This game's second and third act are very short compared to the first one.
This is Valvenor. It is not a beautiful place, but for the time being, it seems to be unknown to the Deadwalker army. This village has known better days. Before the war, it was popular among the rich hunters who came to enjoy the ample game in the swamps. Today, the only visitors are refugees, who are sadly too numerous for the scant resources of the village. A small healing house provides comfort and succor to the injured. The knight is quite fond of Mirana, the healer who runs the place. Does the mercenary see the building opposite? It was once an inn, but it is now the residence of the steward, the man now in charge of the village.
This is a very large inn, considering the size of the village. There must have been many visitors before the war.
With any luck, we might get to sleep in a real bed tonight. How come you talk that way? Always in the third person.
The way people speak is different from one place to another, and I am from another place. The knight's people are a warrior tribe from Algandar, and he is proud of them.
Where can I find the steward?
As the knight said, the steward is in the old inn, the big building in the middle of the village.
What does the steward want with me?
The captain has offered the services of the freeborn blades to the steward. The steward must have orders for the mercenary.
Shit. I'm gonna get stuck being this guy's errand boy. Damn. I knew I should have gone with the rest of the company. What can you tell me about this backwater town?
This village is a modest one, and its reserves are almost gone. Its only strength is its isolation in these swamps. But that is also its greatest weakness.
I already figured it was some kind of shithole.
That the refugees and the villagers must live together is difficult. And the situation is worsened by there not being enough food. The swamp offers protection against the Deadwalkers, but it also harbors many dangers. Its creatures often attack the village. When the knight and the elf are not there to defend the walls, the watch often leave them unguarded. Shameless.
I'm going.
Town there actually is a day-night cycle. This game kicks so much ass.
You could at least answer when I ask you a question.
Hello. Anybody home?
A good day to you, soldier. I do believe that today is your lucky day.
Really? What are you gonna try to sell me?
Sell?
Oh, now you're trying to make me feel bad. No, unfortunately I have nothing left to sell. Other than some first-hand information that will surely be of use to you.
Information? What information?
Hey, you know what? Some kind of reward would be appreciated. It's just that with the war, we have so little left.
Here, take this. What do you have?
Apparently, the Red Scribes have found a way to win the war. They found someone capable of breathing fire, who's gonna burn up the Ice Lords just by looking at them.
I don't believe it. You took my money for that? You fucking with me?
I swear, it's true. Please, we're starving.
I'll let it slide this time, but don't you ever try to rip me off again, unless you're tired of using your hands. I wanted to ask you, have you ever met the steward?
He came to see the refugees several times, but I never spoke to him. I got the impression he couldn't stand us. He's the boss and we're the little people, see?
Life of a refugee can't be easy.
I've been a refugee for years. 5 to be exact. All these years on the road. And believe me, it's never easy. But this village is a pretty good place. The healing house gives us food most of the time, and we're safe. That's not bad.
How are things going with the guards?
Oh, we don't see them too much around here. They're basically here to guard the village. They don't give a shit about the refugees, so they keep their distance. And I hope for the steward's sake that he's not counting too much on them to keep him safe. I've seen lots of soldiers on the road, but as useless as them, never.
Right, I'm leaving.
Go there, Powder Man. You still didn't manage to blow yourself up?
Pretty quiet around here, huh?
Yeah. Too quiet for my taste. Do you really imagine the Deadwalkers are going to forget about this place just because this swamp is dangerous?
No. But it'll slow them down. Maybe we'll see them coming.
Ha! You can bet your ass they're already here. There's something in the air that stinks, and I don't mean the locals either. I feel like the Ice Lords are watching us. Right now.
I have a few questions for you. How are the Freeborn Blades holding up?
We left some blood on the stones in the temple, but most of the company got away all right. But if we don't get some new recruits soon, things are gonna get serious. The captain has sent some men ahead to Karalthas. I hope they manage to pick up a few recruits, and they're not too scabby.
Is there anybody in this village worth recruiting?
See for yourself. There isn't a single man amongst the guards or the refugees that knows which end of a sword you're supposed to hold. We'll just have to wait. And be careful.
So, you made it out of the temple then?
I did. I suppose my time's not up yet. I guess that'll cause more gossip amongst the youngsters. The eternal survivor. My balls. There are some days when I wish it would be over.
I tell you, you'll be the one that buries all of us. Do you think we can win against the Deadwalker army?
Against the Deadwalker army? No chance. Now, the Ice Lords, that's another question.
What do you mean?
Only that sometimes you have to try to chop off the head, you know? That bunch of walking corpses wouldn't be any trouble at all if there was no one to guide them.
I guess you're right, but I don't think that makes the task any simpler.
There was a time way back, you know, when there were so many of us in the company, several hundred, that the captain decided to delegate. So he chose 2 lieutenants. Those 2 assholes fought over how to share out the men for weeks. They both wanted to take the best men for their group. And the result? We had our asses handed to us by an army that was hardly more numerous than we were. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Deadwalkers are just the same. You've got 7 bosses, and each one of them wants to control everything.
So if we were able to set them against each other...
Now you're thinking straight. I don't know how we could do it, but I'm sure that it's possible.
See you later.
I think that's a shot.
Here we go. Another one of these hick refugees. There's nothing for you here.
Call me a hick one more time, and I'll be using your face as an anvil.
Let's all remain calm, shall we? Please forgive my error. With all this commotion and all the thankless tasks I find myself confronted with, I often find my attention to detail slips. So, what can I do for you?
I need more info about Valvanor.
And you have decided that I have a sympathetic face. It's the story of my life. Talent worthy of a king's ransom, but surrounded by cretins who only seek that which is free.
What can you tell me about the steward?
Oh, don't expect me to say anything bad about Bertolf Chambriad. I'm not always in agreement with him, but I can see that he knows his business. And he keeps the village relatively safe.
It's not often you see an elf blending in with other cultures.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
there many of you here in Valvanor?
To my knowledge, I was the only one. That is until Prince Arundel and his acolyte arrived. Does that pose a problem for you?
Not at all.
Well, it does for me. His Majesty the Prince of Imbeciles is going to bring us nothing but trouble.
Do you know the woman who runs the healing house?
Oh, but of course. She's all one hears about lately. Everyone here will tell you that she's a courageous woman, fighting a noble battle. Everyone but me. The woman's insane. There are already far too many mouths to feed in this camp. Clearly, she's fully aware of this, yet she stubbornly insists on making things worse.
And the Red Scribes? Know anything about them?
Oh, certainly. A boring bunch of fusspots, spreading science and preaching the good word while never suspecting that anyone might see through their little game.
Our game? Well, pray tell, give us the details. Please, give us the benefit of your extensive knowledge.
I don't pretend to know about all their little plots. I spend very little time with them, and frankly, I couldn't possibly care less about them. But I am fully aware that pretty speeches serve no better purpose than manipulating minds. They're nothing more than noisy masks behind which hides a reality that is far uglier. The more the melody is sweet, the better it distracts you. And is there anything more disgustingly melodious than the discourse of a red scribe?
When it comes to disgusting discourse, you seem to be something of an expert.
Let's talk about something else. Show me what you have for sale.
Ah, gold. So vulgar to work with. So wonderful to own.
I have like no money right now. Fuck your crate, bitch! Fuck it! Fuck your chest! Oh, I got a steal. That's cool. I only need one more and I can finally craft that upgrade.
Yeah, who are you? One of them fucking mercenaries,
Fucking
right?
mercenaries, right?
Fucking mercenary, yeah. Sounds about right.
You know what I call your lot? Ore blades. I got no time for ores.
Ore blades.
We're all in the same boat. Mercenaries, refugees, useless guards. We're all fighting the Deadwalkers.
You mean until the Ice Lords make you a better offer, get lost, ore blade? Stupid wreck. You again? I thought I made myself clear. I got no money to employ you. Now fuck off.
God, what a bitch. Ore blade.
My goodness, let's see. You're not pissing blood, you're not vomiting your guts out. Both legs are in place and they seem to be holding you upright. Congratulations. It looks like you'll pull through. And now you'll excuse me, but I have other miracles to accomplish, and not much time to devote to people in your condition.
Sounds like the same chick that voices Liliana in Dragon Age.
Take it easy there, Doc. I'm with the Freeborn Blades, not one of your refugees.
You could be Blackstorm himself for all I care. Now get out of my way, I have things to do.
Okay.
Mercenary?
I need your help. Can I do something for you?
No, thank you. I don't need anything for the moment.
Tell me more about your order.
Before the war, our main objective in Creed was to collect and save all kinds of knowledge. We had a presence everywhere on the continent, and had chapters in every major city. We studied and preserved all possible sources of knowledge there. We also dispensed information and care. Because even though we're not the greatest magicians, our knowledge let us come to the aid of the wounded and the sick. I could of course relate our history in detail for hours and hours, but I doubt that is really what interests you.
With all the knowledge accumulated by your scribes, you must have learned something about the Ice Lords, surely.
We do indeed know some of their secrets, and a good part of their history.
Anything we could use to fight them?
We thought we'd found a chink in their powers that our ritual was supposed to let us exploit. But you saw the result.
That's one way of putting it.
That said, I'm beginning to wonder if we haven't involuntarily brought about the conditions for their end.
I'm not following you.
What you have within you could well turn out to be their doom. Even if I don't have the faintest idea of how or why. And unfortunately, as long as we don't know more about it, we also have to fear that it might lead to our doom, too.
I'll be going now.
Oh yeah, I got a helmet. Kind of looks terrible. Kind of not. I'm good. Nice, Romar. What's up?
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
Can I have a look at your stock?
Potion.
Greetings, mercenary.
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you? Would you like some potatoes?
I have some questions I'd like to ask you. Do you have any idea about what's happening to me?
I'm afraid I may not be able to help you. Your condition is more due to magic than medicine. Your symptoms remind me of certain mental illnesses, where the subject has the impression he hears voices in his head.
And do these nutcases throw fire and have eyes that burn from within too?
You'd be surprised at what they can do. But obviously you're not like them. That being the case, if you study them, you might find some answers. In particular, I'm thinking of the fact that most of these poor madmen end up giving free rein to the darkest side of their personalities. Make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Who's the big snoring elf?
Show some respect, please. That's Prince Arundel.
And?
He's the son of the Elven King, leader of the last army standing against the Deadwalkers.
Yeah, okay. But he doesn't exactly look like he's ready to stand against anything just now. What's wrong with him?
From what I've been told, Relmar brought him here before we arrived. The prince and his men fell in an ambush. Without your friend, he wouldn't have made it out. Unfortunately, he was severely wounded and has probably been the victim of powerful magic. I'm trying to find a cure, but without much success for the moment.
I'll be going now. Relmar, you got a minute?
Yes?
I have a few questions I need to ask you. Elves are pretty rare. I haven't had the chance to talk to many. Can you tell me more about your people?
We are born in the trees, eat only seeds, and we spend all the livelong days singing.
I get the feeling you're fucking with me.
Perish the thought. Well, it's just that we aren't that different from you humans, despite what one hears. Our civilization is obviously a bit older, so we have had the time to learn from our mistakes. We don't really live in the same rhythm as you do. We move a little slower, and most of us are prone to having at least some respect for the past. This is the reason why we never destroy anything, that we prefer to build on top of things.
I've heard that you are immortal.
That joke has lived for 15 generations. I will never get tired of it. No, we're not immortal. We live long lives, though. Much longer than you. We are resistant to poisons, rotten food, and toxic body odor, apparently. Unfortunately, these things do not make us immortal.
Don't elves ever make war?
That's an impression we like to give other people. The fact is, we do go to war, just never against each other. You must understand that, given our long lifetimes, battles are fairly futile. This may well be what has motivated the choices of our king concerning the Ice Lords. But we certainly know how to fight, and you'll see proof of that soon enough.
So it's the prince who gives the orders?
The word orders may not be the best one. We do not submit nor obey easily. Our kings are a reference, wise men who can point out the way. They tend to guide us rather than give us orders. But to answer your question, it is his father, the king, who is the leader of our people.
You seem different from the other elves I've met. Where are you from?
Really? I seem different. And yet I have such pointy ears. And if you really want to know, I actually come from one of the most ancient and noble houses that exists. I'm even linked to the royal family. But I can assure you that I'm sufficiently far down the line of succession to be in no danger of being crowned. And my reputation is no help either.
As far as bad reputations go, every mercenary has got one, so we're used to it.
Let's just say that I got into enough trouble to eventually be considered a traitor to my people. When I got involved in the war, I disagreed with decisions made by the king. He thought that this war, like so many others, would not last. That the conquests won by the Ice Lords would melt away like all the human victories before them had. But I thought differently. Right from the start of hostilities, I began to requisition certain resources I felt necessary for those doing the fighting. More food, more weapons, better armor. When my people discovered what I'd done, I was declared an outlaw, and many saw me as a thief, which, in a manner of speaking, I guess I was.
A bunch of cowards. If they had listened to you, we wouldn't be in this mess.
I've been telling myself that for years. But I do understand their point of view. It is flawed, but not entirely thoughtless. They have had some time to prepare their forces and to learn the strengths and weaknesses of the Deadwalker army. This knowledge might allow us to turn the tide of the war, even if it does seem too little too late at this point.
Do you know these swamps?
I've been in this area long enough to have explored a fair amount of it, actually. The region is rather inhospitable, which I suppose is a good thing under the present circumstances.
A good thing? You're out of your mind.
These swamps are a labyrinth. The Deadwalker scouts will never be autonomous enough to find their way to the village by themselves.
That means we should be fairly safe for the moment. At least until a general or an Ice Lord comes to town.
Except that recently, there has been a change in these swamplands. And I must admit that
yeah.
I don't feel safe at all.
What do you mean?
Something is affecting the swamplands, corrupting the vegetation and the animals. And I have no idea what it is. But anything that grows or lives here could become a threat. So I strongly recommend that you watch where you put your feet.
Let's change the subject. I'll leave you here.
Can you only have one companion?
Relmar, you got it?
Yes.
I need your expertise. Will you come with me?
Of course I will. Lead the way.
Okay, you can only have one companion. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do my ritual one last time. I already kind of did it, but you know what? I might as well do it in front of the stream just so I can have 2 verification proofs because nobody's watching, and because streaming is one of the main things that keeps me going. Alright. Let's do this. Hey guys, I'm just being here and I'm doing my ritual one more time. Just so I can do it in front of the stream and have double proof. Please don't make me go blind. In fact, when my eyesight has been through, my closure has torn on her. Please let the dizziness and nausea go away what has caused me. Please let none of my self-harm be permanent. I just seem to let the cumulative go away when I'm done. Please just watch out for any indications. I'm doing this one really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Ah, shit. Oh, hurt my increase. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, please do it. Now 4:44, which is in 11, 21 minutes. I'm done frowning. Okay, so you got 5. I'm about to get another drink. Just give me a second. I'll be right back. Pull my headphones out.
Is our best defense. Happily, the wildlife are just as keen on attacking the Deadwalkers as they are the villagers. But the situation here in Valvanor grows worse daily. And each new wave of refugees increases the risk of drawing unwanted attention to this jungle.
No Ice Lord scouts who find this village will ever escape to tell the tale. Of that, I can assure you. Also, my men are reinforcing your defenses. Forgive me for saying, but you have some serious weak points. Especially the defenses around that refugee camp of yours.
The arrival of the Freeborn Blades and the Red Scribes has greatly improved our chances of survival, Captain. Believe me when I say that we are most grateful to have you with us. Needless to say, your men and the Red Scribes are welcome and free to go where they will. But as for any other newcomers, our gates are closed. You must understand that our food stores are as limited as our abilities to defend our village. Until you arrived, we had but one person who was even vaguely capable of treating our injured. And the case of Prince Orendale was completely beyond her skills. And there is this beast story. Doubtless another fairy tale, the fruit of an alcohol-addled brain. Nonetheless, several of the Watch have gone missing. Something hidden in these swamps is causing these disappearances, but we cannot risk sacrificing any more of the few men remaining to us on sending patrols. Large groups entail moving chrysalids that are unmanageable. The others, quite simply, do not return.
Silence.
If I were to listen to everyone, I would need 10 times the number of men I have to verify the truth of every tale.
Enough. You must aid me to do this. I am not able to do that. Your endless wailings are unbearable.
In the name of Vulcan?
But by the gods, man, what is...
This world is condemned. The cold hath invaded its ground, its souls, and its heart. Yet here you stand, weaving your limbs like fish taken from the water. Miserably shuffling about to conserve the illusion of warmth and life, and not feel the passing of your last breath, while I must endure your wailings and lamentations. Pitiful.
Vulcan, stop this nonsense immediately.
It is not he who speaks.
All doth fall to ruin about you. Yet you still bewail your loose bowels and vomitings. You cannot vanquish your dead walkers, no more than you can vanquish their necromancer masters. They draw their power from the very heart of the world. They drink it, they suckle it dry. Your only chance to cleanse what your own hath corrupted is to go to the World Heart and liberate it from its servitude.
The World Heart is a myth. A forgotten fairy tale, no more real than dragons or dwarves.
A myth. Continue hiding behind thy puny barricades, and thou wilt soon join thy myths and fairy tales.
Cease your pretense. I know you have returned to consciousness.
What the hell happened? I was just listening to the steward blabbing away with the captain, and then...
And then you lost control.
I don't know, it's like something in my head zapped me so it could use my mouth. But I was still there, still thinking what I was saying.
This is not the first time you have felt this presence manifest itself.
No. No, it's been there since the temple. It's also in my dreams. I think...
Interesting. It would seem that your body is host to some other entity. And it is clearly a spirit of fire.
No kidding. I got a demon in my head.
Something of the kind. In truth, I could not say what it is. Not yet, at least.
Don't make me laugh. After all, it's your disciples that let this thing out of its cage, right?
That has nothing to do with it. Do you have any idea of the implications of this incident?
If it happens again a couple of days from now, they'll all start spitting and throwing rocks at me. I guess I'll have to watch out.
I fear that is the least of your worries. Obviously, you haven't understood. The thing that is inside you, it wishes you ill. There is not enough space inside you for two souls. That demon wants your body. It will control you more and more until it has replaced you completely.
Ha! Thou thinkest I crave the body of a mortal? I am a prisoner here. My place is in the world heart.
It will not hesitate to lie to you, to tell you that which you wish to hear, so that you will allow it to consume you.
Be forced to hear thy every thought. It is I who have been invaded.
It speaks to you. Do not listen to it. Cast it from you. If you do not resist, it will crush your soul.
Hey, take it easy. One day at a time, okay? I'm gonna take a walk.
I am busy, mercenary. Go do what you're getting paid for.
What a bitch.
Mr. Vulcan, what brings you here?
The captain wants me to help your village. You got a job I can do?
With our shortages of food and fighting men, our worn-out equipment and the growing lines at the healing house, I cannot deny our village is sorely in need of help. Sadly, I fear that these are not the sort of problems you are used to dealing with, unless I'm much mistaken.
Maybe I'll surprise you. So what's the problem with the healing house?
Quite simply, Mirana cannot keep up. She spends every waking minute giving out supplies to the refugees and refuses to admit that she cannot help everyone. She thinks she's fooling me. I have heard rumors that her food stock is running low. Unsurprisingly, the crowds outside are becoming restless. I believe they wish to continue handing out our food reserves as though they were unlimited.
Excuse me.
This is not the case, and thus, it is not an option.
So, you want someone to put her down?
Why, I never suggested any such thing. I just wish she would see reason, for all our sakes. But I have asked nothing of you. I was merely answering your question.
Your guards... How can I put this? At first, I thought they were disobeying orders. Now I think maybe they don't even understand them. If you're stupid and incompetent, you should be digging turnips, not taking care of security.
You're beginning to worry me. Is it really
that
bad?
Are you kidding me? The state of their weapons is enough to make you cry. Maybe they'd be good for splitting logs.
Personally, I'm not capable of judging the aptitude of our sentries, but their poor results speak for themselves. Doubtless, you should share your observations with Mason, the chief of the watch. I should warn you, however, that he is of a somewhat stubborn nature.
Wouldn't be the first I've seen. I need the reports about this beast that attacked the villagers.
I fear I am unable to be of help. I'm still not entirely convinced that it even exists. All I know is that several villagers have vanished. One villager is at present in the doctor's care, following a supposed encounter with the said beast. These swamps are crawling with dangers. There is nothing to suggest anything out of the ordinary. The refugees are always inventing horror stories in an attempt to force us to open our gates and let them inside.
It might be worth checking it out. You said you lost one of your patrols, right?
That is so. You should speak with Randval. He was most anxious to go out and hunt the beast down, but we needed him here. Now that we have more able bodies to guard our gates, I imagine he would be keen to pick up the scent once more.
I've got a few questions I'd like to ask about this village.
I imagine there are few who are better placed than myself to answer them.
How come it's you that's running the show here?
What a question. Because, my friend, someone has to. You imagine I'm doing this for my amusement, perhaps? Doubtless you wish it was someone else. The chief of the watch has trouble organizing 3 peasants. Our dear apothecary is evidently keen to give succor to any and every poor soul who wanders into the healing house. And regardless of your reputation, the people of this village would never trust outsiders such as yourself, or even the Red Scribes. So yes, it is indeed I who command here. The one-time steward of the hunting lodge of Valvanor, now leader of this shithole.
Well, hell. Glad we got that cleared up. What can you tell me about the people of Valvanor?
Before the war, there were just a few families here. Hunters and craftsmen, mostly. These days, they survive as best they can, husbanding their animals and digging up the puny vegetables they've managed to grow. Few dare to venture outside the walls. These woods are fruitful, but more perilous than ever before, and most of these folk know nothing of arms.
But you've got your guards.
They hardly qualify as an armed militia. Of the few that remain, most are sturdy farmers whom we have entrusted with some kind of weapon. Most of the real fighters left the village as soon as war broke out. The others died while out on patrol. The only one left here with any real experience is Mason, the head of the guard. Sadly, the man is a walking beer keg, who could not give a dog's fart for what his men are about.
Who are all those refugees that you're keeping outside the walls?
The war with the Ice Lords has driven many from their homes and villages. Alas, it would seem that some of them found their way here. I have tried to accommodate as many as we can, and provide as much comfort as possible, but I fear we can do little more. We are reaching the end of our reserves, and relations between the refugees and the villagers are becoming strained.
The refugees can't all be dead weight. Some of them have got to be useful.
Oh, if only. Believe me, I would be the first to welcome them. These peasants have been fleeing from town to town and from camp to camp for months. The best and strongest of them perished in battles, somewhere along the way. I must deal with the leftovers. I put the biggest of them in the watch, but they are of little use.
The healing house. It's a pretty good thing for your village, huh?
If you say so. As time has gone by, the healing house has drawn refugees to the swamps in ever greater numbers, and dissuaded some malingerers from returning to their families. When it opened its doors a year ago, the sense of relief was palpable. It was run by a couple, an elf doctor and his apothecary wife, who clearly were no strangers to the healing arts. Thanks to them, we were spared many plagues. But as the war dragged on, the endless tide of refugees continued to flow through our gates until we could harbor no more. 6 months ago, our worst nightmares were fulfilled. Our elf doctor fell ill and died. Since then, Mirana has soldiered on without rest, alone. I do not know how much longer she can keep going. The refugees just keep on coming. And I fear that poor woman is beginning to crumble under the strain. It's not surprising.
I need a blacksmith. Do you have one here?
With none more qualified, I asked Asiel to take over the village forge. I suppose I should warn you, he's quite a tricky character. He has a huge ego.
Yeah, I met the asshole.
And is stubborn as an ox. Before the war, he was a sort of artist. He crafted jewelry and sculptures from metal. Despite running the forge, one could hardly call him a blacksmith. But he's the only one here who had even the vaguest notion of how to repair a shovel or straighten a blade.
We'll talk again later. Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I need your help. Come with me.
If you want.
I am busy, Merson.
Fucking dickhead.
The Order of the Freeborn Blades is of great repute, and the mercenary does honor to its name. The mercenary's powers are both astonishing and fascinating. The knight would like to duel with the mercenary, that he may judge the mercenary's strength.
Sure, I can never turn down a good fight. But maybe we should take it outside if we don't want to break everything in here.
The knight is honored, and bows to his adversary's wisdom.
Wait for me here, Sybil. I won't be long.
Woo! Boop, 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 boop.
Knight hopes that his adversary will not hold back his blows.
Oh, you can count on it.
Never before battled an adversary with such power, and he believes that he could be that which is needed to change the course of this war.
You fight pretty good yourself. Where did you learn your moves? Can't believe you learned to fight like that in this backwater.
The knight has traveled far and fought many battles. He has only lived in his village for a short time.
What are you doing in the middle of these swamps when you could be making a difference on the battlefield?
The knight has fought a great many battles, but he feels he can be more useful protecting those who have nothing left.
I have to go. I'm glad we could test each other's mettle. It was fun.
Before his adversary rushes off to fight other battles, the knight has a question for him. He wishes to know if the Freeborn Blades would like him to join them.
I'm not the one who decides who joins the company, but I can ask the captain for you.
He has thought long on it, and wishes it would be so.
Well, that's great. I'll ask him, but I can't promise you anything.
Oh, here we go. Time to honor my word. And I'm gonna start a timer. Oh, stopwatch. Well. That's the healer lady, that's the apothecary. Where's the captain? Oh, he's probably out.
This village is about as secure as your granny's underwear. Not a single watchman at his post. It's worse than I'd imagined.
I'll deal with this, Captain.
Good. I'm counting on you. Remember, if you screw this up, we'll all be joining the ranks of the Dead Walker army as soon as their scouts find this place.
Captain, just fought a duel with Ranville, the guardian of the village. And before you start yelling about wasted energy, I want you to know that it was him that insisted on it. He's one hell of a fighter. He hits you like he was chopping down a tree, and he can take a blow and shake it off. He wants to join the Blades.
I have the feeling that every new recruit I take on these days is headed straight for the cemetery. But considering the losses we've suffered, I suppose I can't refuse. Bring him here to me. I'll check him out.
The villagers told me about a beast. I have to find its lair.
Hawk talked to me about that a while ago. He said he'd found some suspicious-looking tracks that led back to the northern swamps.
I'll go and follow the tracks. Where's Hawk?
No idea. I sent him off to scout that part of the swamp, but he hasn't reported back yet.
Captain, I wanted to ask... Do you really think we should be trusting these red scribes?
Vulcan, I'm not going to try and make this pretty. These are tough times. Thanks to this cursed war, our list of potential clients is shrinking faster than my dick when I jump into an ice bath. I get it, that after what happened in the temple, you'd like to send them all packing. This whole demon business is complicated. But we are mercenaries after all is said and done. We're not a charity. We're only as good as our clients. And you know, even if they did screw things up back there, they were right to try and find some way to beat the Ice Lords. What's the alternative? Lie down and wait to freeze?
Thanks to them, we all nearly bought it back at the temple. I'm not even convinced it was an accident.
You have a point. And since we don't want to finish up as a pile of bodies under a snowdrift, we're going to keep a sharp eye on them from now on.
Do you think the company is going to make it?
Of course. The Blades have always come through. They've existed for more than 2 centuries, and they won't give up now. Not during my watch. But to tell you the truth, we're not looking too fresh. Not with the losses we took back at the temple. And as for new recruits, it's been what? A year almost since we found anyone worthwhile.
Most of us were recruited when the war began, and there aren't many of us left. The only available recruits now are either cowards, deserters, or kids.
If we're gonna hold this village, we're going to have to do it using the locals, even though most of them look like they couldn't organize a party in a brewery. As soon as we've recovered a bit, we'll break camp and head for Carroll Pass. I already sent some of the Blades ahead to see if they could find any new recruits. With a bit of luck, they'll come up with something better than one-armed, no-legged trolley rollers.
Why did we fall back to the swamp?
The Red Scribes knew of this place and said that we'd be safe here for a while. And apart from a few repulsive beasties creeping around outside the walls, it's actually quite peaceful. I don't think I'd buy a house here, though, would you? So we'll heal our wounded, try and learn what's happening to you, and then get the hell out of here.
I'm leaving.
Oh, wait.
Vulcan, I do love our little...
You wanted the Freeborn Blades to help the villagers. Is that still happening?
As long as we have to stay here, yes. Why?
I'm leaving.
See, you know, this game definitely has its flaws, but I'm not going to say this is a bad game, because it's fucking not. At least not in my opinion.
The knight heard talk of a troubling event that happened during the meeting between the mercenary and the steward.
Yeah, the short version is that I have a demon living inside of me.
A demon? The knight has never heard of such a creature. Should he be worried?
Don't worry about it. The thing inside of me allows me to control fire. Could be pretty useful against the dead walkers, huh?
Evidently. But is there not a risk that this creature will devour the mercenary?
A risk? Not yet. It needs me, and I have it under control. He wants to see you. Come on, follow me.
Vulcan.
Captain?
So, it's Randval, is it?
That is the knight's name. How can he prove his valor to you?
Alrighty then. I'm glad you warned me that he talks a bit funny. Right then, laddie. All you have to do is fight a duel with me. And do your best.
It will be an honor to fight with a man who they say has never been beaten.
If you think you can flatter me into letting you off lightly, forget about it. Like I said, do your best.
The knight hopes that he will be the first to vanquish him. He will not hold back his blows.
That's more like it. Let's see what you've got, laddie. Not bad. Not bad at all. Welcome to the Freeborn Blades, my boy. We were starting to be seriously short of fighters worthy of the name, and you fight like a man. Well, you're a ways off from beating me. Vulcan! He's your recruit. You can take care of him. Go on. Away with you.
Welcome to the Freeborn Blades, friend. Don't take it so hard. The entry fight is a humiliation we all had to go through. Me included.
The captain deserves his post and his reputation. He is an exceptional warrior. The knight will be proud to serve under his orders. After such a combat, the knight will need to rest for a moment. He asks that his friend, and now brother, come to find him when he has need.
Okay. See you later.
Haven't you anything better to do than bother me?
Hang on a sec. The steward himself sent me here to give you a hand.
Wonderful. I've been after him for months to get me some help, and he sends me an armed ape. You practice medicine, I presume? Your tools seem rather barbaric.
Listen, if you show me the recipes, I could probably help you cook up some remedies for these people.
That's very kind of you. Unfortunately, what we are missing most are the ingredients. In fact, there is something that you could doubtless do for me. I'm worried about my assistant Haman. I haven't seen him for a while now, and I fear he might have gone into the swamps to look for the plants I need. We're forced to venture further and further in to find the plants we need. With all that's been going on lately, I forbade him from going back out alone, but the boy is nothing if not stubborn.
Stubborn? Yeah, I hate people like that.
Please find him. He's a good boy. He's done nothing but help others since he arrived. Without him, the House of Healing would be a house of death.
If I'm gonna be slogging through the swamps anyway, might as well take a look around and try to bring back the plants you need too, right? You got any drawings or descriptions?
Grateful to you, but above all, try to bring back my assistant Haman in one piece. He is your priority. For the rest, basically, I need food, medicinal herbs, and of course, I wouldn't say no to a few pre-prepared potions. All of our stock seems to disappear so quickly. I'll give you the parchment that I made for Haman to help you recognize the specimens I need. He knows them by heart now, after so many trips.
Right. Plants, potions, chow, and one assistant. If I come across any elven tea, would you like a cup of that too?
That would be lovely.
Have you heard any rumors about a beast wandering around in the marshes?
They are not rumors. There is something in these marshes, and I have a patient in a coma that confirms it.
Something? What does that mean? Where can I find it?
I don't know exactly what it is. The wounds don't resemble anything seen around here before. What you seek is large, powerful, and obviously has enormous claws at its disposal. The wounded man was found west of the swamps, crawling towards the village. If you really wish to fall upon that beast, that would be a good place to start. But bear in mind the possibility that it may be the beast which falls upon you.
I'd like some information about the village and its inhabitants. So what do you think of the steward?
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Too late if you ask me.
If I were you, I'd be wary of him. He is not as honorable as he would have you believe. Know that before the war, he was just a lackey, bowing and scraping before all the people of power that passed by. Due to a superior's mistake, he thinks he's in charge now. He's a latecomer, nothing but an opportunist, ready to do anything to keep his little piece of power. I've had the misfortune of experiencing his sense of priorities. When he no longer has a use for you, he lets you know you're not welcome.
I can't say I disagree with you there. This asshole treats everybody like his personal slaves.
For the moment, he treats you well because you serve his needs. This might not always be true, and then your lives will be threatened.
He'd go that far?
I didn't found the House of Healing alone. It was with my husband, Ron. He was not a great warrior, nor a renowned strategist. His only gift was for healing. He was my teacher before becoming my husband. The steward welcomed us with open arms. We took care of his men, his villagers. Then the refugees started arriving in greater numbers. Too many for Chambriad, who ended up closing the gates and pretending that these people simply didn't exist. Ron was furious. He tried to make him understand that he would heal everyone, no matter what. And if the self-proclaimed leader of the village wasn't capable of taking care of anyone other than himself, that he would do it. A few days later, I came back from the swamps to discover Ron in agony in the healing house. He had been poisoned.
You think this was the work of the steward?
Who else would have reason to kill him? Everyone loved him and counted on him. Chambriad thought that without him, the healing house would close and that the number of refugees would diminish naturally. Unfortunately for him, I will continue my husband's good work even unto my dying breath. He gave me an even greater reason to keep going.
This healing house is a waste of time and resources. These people are but dead weight.
Who are these refugees you're helping?
They are the outcasts of the war. Those who didn't have the privilege of dying in combat or who lack knowledge of the arts of the forge. No one wants them. If I don't help them, nobody will.
You're doing the right thing. Taking care of them is good for everybody's morale. The ones who do the fighting want to know they aren't doing it for nothing, and that their people won't be abandoned while they're gone.
That is far from the only reason. But I'm very happy to hear you say it.
What did you do before the war?
Before the war? Please don't tell me you're naive enough to believe that this war only started 10 years ago.
That's what everybody says.
I come from Shorelin, a faraway land in the north that the Ice Lords probably wiped off the map some time ago. Because no one is left to write the history books, other than a fanatical cult more interested in arcane magic than in human science or medicine. The fact remains that the war is far more ancient than that. For as long as I can remember, I have always known war. I was only just learning to walk when Marshal Winters invaded my homeland.
I have heard of this Ice Lord. Winters the Bloodthirsty.
I wandered along the main roads for years, always heading further south, staying just ahead of the advancing Deadwalkers. First with my sister, and a family of neighbors. Then just with my sister. Then all alone. Until the day I met the man who would become my husband. A remarkable elf, who taught me how to heal, and how to love, and help those near me. But after years of fleeing, and ending up here in this isolated village so in need of healers, we decided to put down roots. Roan died 8 months ago, leaving me alone and in charge of the House of Healing that we had built together.
Let's talk about your healing house. I found you a few health potions. Here, I hope these will help cover your needs for a little while.
They will prove very useful, I promise you, and thank you.
Where could I find some food for you?
Sadly, there isn't much choice. You have to go look for it in the swamps, unless you want to bargain for it with the steward. Perhaps he will be more generous with a mercenary than with a simple apothecary.
I'll take my leave. See you later.
Do I have to spill it out, or...
Shut your stupid mouth for 2 seconds, please? The steward sent me here to help you.
Oh, that's all I need. Don't he think I got enough on my plate? Now he sends me some ore blade from God's know where. Hey, as long as it ain't me is paying for you, hey? You want to help? Knock yourself out. I warn you, there's plenty to do.
Get to the point before I set your breath on fire.
All right, take it easy. No need to get nasty, eh? You want to help? Yes or no?
Keep talking.
Well, for a start, you could try and find one of my patrols that's gone missing. At first, I thought maybe one of those half-wits was sleeping it off under a tree somewhere. But it's been a while now. Maybe something bad happened to him in the swamp.
I guess I could go back and check.
What a coincidence. That's exactly what I was gonna ask you. After that, well, I suppose a pro like you, I guess it would be useful helping out the sentries. It won't be luxury. I don't know if you've seen what we're supposed to fight with, but, wow, if you can have a word with your quartermaster to see what he can do for my lads, you have my blessing.
The benediction of a drunk. Better and better.
It's what all us fucking mercenaries dream of. All right, I'll see what I can do.
Right. We may be living in the arsehole of Virtue, but being armed like a bunch of tramps we can do without. And while you're at it, when you've been to the forge, you'll probably feel like letting off steam a bit. Why don't you go and take it out on my lads?
What do you mean?
Kick their arses so they can't sit down and get drunk instead of patrolling. And show them a couple of tricks while you're at it. A bit of training. Couldn't do no harm.
Your men can't afford to keep their thumbs in their asses. It's time to teach them how to use those weapons.
Knock yourself out, Payblade. I'll go and shake them awake. Perfect. I couldn't have done better. I reckon the lesson is gonna leave a few marks this time. Have you got time to go again, while they're still warmed up?
Why not? Let's go.
Ah, shit. Why is it not letting me take a fucking potion? What the fuck? Thank God.
Even so, they are making progress. If you whack them enough times, they remember how to defend themselves. Or are you up for giving them one last lesson?
Ah, fuck, here we go.
One last lesson.
What's up, bitch? Ah. Jesus fucking Christ. Ah, you bitch.
Nice job. Of course, they've ate you for a while, but what they learned here today will save their lives one day.
My pleasure. I like this way of saving lives.
Haha. Okay. All right, back. Yeah, I'm gonna be whilst I'm in this part. I'll be back in a bit.